This week on the Push Wallows podcast, we have to talk about the Queen. And we go on a little bit of a Reels reach, coaching, Instagram, and would you ever film your own exercise library? 3, 2, 1. God save the Queen.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Dan Meek.
And me, Tom Hall. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, obviously not a lot because we're not allowed to do anything because the Queen's died. So there's nothing going on.
Also, I'm surprised you didn't go at me at that because I'm not allowed to say that anymore now. I have to say God save the King. No.
I genuinely,
straight away, like I was sitting watching the news when everything was happening, and they announced that she died, and literally within 2 seconds, it was like, oh, now it's the King. There's no bedding in period. Didn't even realize it because obviously we haven't been alive. Barely anybody's been alive for a change of power. That is.
Yeah. I genuinely don't care enough to pick up on it.
Soon.
I just don't. Do you know what? I have to say this could be me just being completely naive.
Probably.
But I was very shocked at the response. Very shocked at how many people. Some of the stuff they were saying and things they were talking about and just how many people expressing their like love for the Queen and like how they feel. I saw some things like people were saying, "Oh, I feel like a piece of my heart is gone," and I'm like, "Okay, like my life will never be the same again," and I'm like, "Won't it?" And like I was. I'll probably get a bit of stick for it. I didn't really post on social media at all because, again, there's a huge amount of respect for when someone dies. Obviously, someone that big and all this sort of stuff. But
yeah,
I genuinely was quite surprised. To the point where on the evening of when it happened, me and Laura were just chatting about it, and we just burst out laughing because Laura said to me, "Oh, so they're gonna have to. So what's gonna happen to the national anthem now then?" And I was like, "Well, it's just going to be God Save the King." And she said, but what about the other lyrics? And I said, it's not a rap. I was like, what are you on about? Anyway, and I just burst out laughing. Anyway, I posted on my story and I realized, I was like, it's not about the Queen that's the funny. It's funny because I said it's not a rap and it's about lyrics.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm going to delete it because I was like, it's just not the time or place. And I was like, some people since then have made some funny jokes and stuff like this about the royal family, not about the Queen necessarily. But I didn't want to make any jokes or anything about it. I just don't think it's right because obviously she was important to the country apparently, and did all these things. But I genuinely didn't
spot the royalist.
Yeah, I genuinely didn't understand how many people and of our generation. Like, I understand the older people who've maybe grown up with her, and a lot of people who maybe went through the war with her and who were that old. I completely get it. But it's the way that I had some people who are our generation saying that they felt like. I saw some words thrown around it, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, and tell me if I'm speaking out of turn. I don't know. I'm not. Like I said, I'm not into the royals in any way, shape, or form. But I'm also not against them, really.
Yeah.
But some people our age being like a true inspiration to our generation, and I couldn't help but think, why? What has she done that's inspiring, other than, in my eyes, like live her life, right? Like, and yeah, she served her country and all this sort of stuff. But again, I was talking to Laura about this. And again, it's my naivety. I don't know what the royals do. I don't know their job and their role and everything like this, right? But I think my life's been influenced more by prime ministers and parliament because they set laws and rules. And yes, she oversees that. But she doesn't actually, in my opinion, I didn't think that the royals actually influence many people's lives on a daily basis anymore. Like they used to. And being in Dubai now, it's interesting because obviously the king here does actually, because he's the prime minister and makes all the decisions. But yeah, like I said, I was just quite surprised with the reaction, especially people our generation.
It's a strange one as well because so I'll come at it from a slightly different point of view because obviously it totally changes from person to person. I wouldn't say I'm a royalist. And I say, like, I'm very practical in the way that I'm like, all right, they're fantastic for basically bringing in money into our country because they are the most traditional royal family. They are the royal family, essentially. Everybody, it's the Queen. Like, that's literally it. It's like, if you know what that means, it's not the queen of like Denmark. It's not that. It's like she is the queen. So I kind of was a little bit like winded when the news got announced. I didn't expect me to feel like that, considering I'm not a royalist. I'm like, meh, they're fine. I don't particularly, obviously, there's a lot of stupid crap and with the royals, and I'm just like, some of them are absolute bellends. Maybe because she held herself and was kind of squeaky clean in terms of how she portrayed and gave her life to the country. Because you got to think, like, yeah, she lived her life, but she didn't actually live her life, if you get what I mean. Like, me and you can just swan off to Italy for 5 days, 7 days, go play golf. That's not doable. Like, in terms of, I get it. It's like, oh, you're a princess, you're a queen, you get all this cool. But it's not a normal kind of life. Obviously, that's what Harry's trying to go off and do, right? But he's clearly a moron. Well, his wife is. And I was a little bit like, fuck, I didn't expect it to have an effect on me, but I was like, you know what? I was pretty sad. I don't know why, and I couldn't describe it. It's not like I knew her. I'd never met the woman. I was like, I know people who have, and all I've ever heard from people is good stories as well. Like, that's the only thing who are people who have met her. There's never been gone, bit of a dick. Like, in terms of, like, I know people who have met Charles who've gone like, not, I didn't really get on with it. I thought he's incredibly witty, blah, blah, blah. There's people who have like met Harry and been like, it's fine. So I've met Harry. I toured him around fucking Third Space because Soho closed. And I was like, here it is. Because he used to be a member, right? Not going to say that, are we?
Too late now.
But yeah, it was like, I
don't know. Part of me is a bit more... just some of the stuff I saw was I just felt it was a bit much, and that made me feel a little bit like I wanted to go more the other way, which is bad. Like, and again, it's nothing against the Queen as a person, more the monarchy in general.
Because there's still the case of so the proclamation they did on Saturday, they still have to relieve power. That's still a thing. He literally had to say, I relieve everything over to like democracy, and the state of my government will run my things, and blah, blah, blah. There could be a case of like a king going, nah, I'm on this now. Let me have a go.
Yeah, no,
like,
yeah.
Fuck Liz Truss.
No, there could be. There could be
that's
that.
A case of like, and she's built up certain things. Like the weird thing I always think is probably the biggest pride and joy is probably, in terms of like global importance, is the Commonwealth, which is a strange thing really, because it is literally the British Empire, and they have to remember that we conquered or took over a lot of these countries, but now it's gotten to the stage where old colonies of like France and stuff are joining the Commonwealth because it's become a good kind of networking base to be. I think that's hopefully, in terms of people going, that'll be the kind of legacy, and giving perhaps a chance of all the kind of, because obviously in Africa, right, there's English colonies, French colonies, German colonies that all colonize certain places, and they're actually jumping into what is formerly like the British Empire, but is now the Commonwealth, which is a good thing. But there's obviously some countries that have gone, fuck you, I don't want to do it. Is it Jamaica or Barbados most recently, who have just gone, you're not ahead of my state, like, get out, which is fine. And I think that will happen more. I think because currently there's still, I think I might be totally way off on this, I think there's only 14. I think that'll dip below like 10 by the end of Charles's reign, of how many people want to not have the king as the head of state. But it's an interesting one, because I think they do. Yes, there's crappy tabloid stories, but also the tabloids and the royal family are symbiotic. They cannot live without each other, because we wouldn't know what they fucking do if the tabloids didn't exist, and the tabloids would have nothing to write about if the royal family didn't exist.
Yeah, and it's like, this is part of my thing with it. When I was looking at it, and I was just like, again, because I don't read tabloids, I just don't care. And again, I had this discussion, and I was trying to talk to people about it, and obviously some people didn't want to talk about it. I just don't get what they do. Other than wave and turn up to events and for charities and things. And when people were talking about being an inspiration, I was kind of a bit like, I was drawn to thinking about someone like Princess Diana, for example, who was walking minefields, clearing mines out in Africa and doing work like that. and that's inspiring, or something like that. And I said to Laura, I said, what would be more inspiring is if she sold the crown jewels and tried to solve world hunger in Africa. That would be more inspiring.
I
right?
thought you were gonna the way you said that, it was like you're gonna solve a murder or solve
a murder.
mysteries.
Yeah. No, but like, and I just think it's a bit of a, again, like it's a bit, and not this isn't about the Queen as in the person. I want to make that very, very clear. I mean the monarchy in general, right? It's like, yes, they live this life, as you said, and they kind of have to live their life, but they're also sitting there on a chair that costs at least £1 billion with a crown on their head that also costs 500 million, and I just feel a little bit like, I mean, again, the way the country is, I didn't think that it would be as much of a big thing. And then obviously you get the fallout of that, where well, look at what you could do with all this wealth, and look what you could solve, and look at all these things that, are created because of the monarchy and stuff like that. And that is the bit that unfortunately I look at in more depth then, because I'm like, well, actually that's more in line with, again, the way the world is right now. But anyway, I genuinely was surprised. I didn't think there would be 5-mile queues to see the coffin.
I do want to go see everything. Yeah.
I don't feel like in any way, shape, or form being here, I'm missing out on anything. I genuinely don't like, and I'm
if it turns around like it's like, there's going to be like 30 hours of queues, I'm gonna be like, nope. I'm willing to do 3 to 4. I think I'll quite happily, not quite happily. But
and the other thing as well, I saw, which I thought was again a very interesting point, and again the one I want to finish on this point, was Andrew Marr did a piece, and he was just like, the modern plague of this day and age is that everyone was there filming it on their phones.
Yeah,
and part of me is like, right, if you do want to be there to pay your respects, be there. Don't get your phone out. But this is my point: is that people are doing it to say that they did it, not to pay their respects. There will be some that are paying their respects, but Andrew Marr made a great point, and it was like, these people should be there paying their respects, and they've got their phones out recording it. And he was like, there's more people with phones out recording it than there are not. And he's like, at what point, and my point of it is, at what point are you doing it from an ego thing to say, I was there at the Queen's coffin thing, I was there at the funeral? You're not doing it to pay your respect. You're doing it to look better in front of other people, in my opinion. You're not doing it to look back at that video.
Because that was
I think if you're going to pay your respects, you pay your respects and you do it properly.
The proclamation was like, I hated it as well, because I was watching that on Saturday morning, and it was obviously the first ever time this has been televised. Never happened before, is it? Like,
no,
at all. So they were like, shit, what do we do? This is weird.
Yeah.
Because normally when back in the day, when a new king or queen, literally they paid people to come in and they would tell them that there was a new king. And those people had to go to their like town criers, and then they would go tell more people and tell more people. And that's how word spread around. There wasn't like, you don't think in the 1600s like that they were doing it and just, oh yeah, they all got their phones out and put it on TV. It's not actually how it happened, did it? So this was like, shit, this is the first time it's actually on TV in terms of the proclamation. They had to take the window out as well. What really annoyed me is St James's Palace, that whomever designed it, the windows weren't like symmetrical in terms of where it was off center. Really fucked me off. I was just like, what have they done? I was like, this is awful. Dear. And then they took a window out for it to get out, but then that was still the same. The BBC had to pan up to take out all the crowd that was in there, because obviously this was the case of like something I'd never seen as well. It was the King's Guard. Now used to be the Queen's Guard. The King's Guard, they actually they took their hats off and then did hip hip hooray for the king or 3 cheers for the king. Never seen them take their hats off ever. That was quite cool. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. You just saw me too. I literally took my hat off in front of Dan. He didn't like it at all. Hair's too fluffy today. But yeah, it was literally every single person was filming it on their phone. And I was just like, I hate it at gigs, right? So
yeah.
In my youth, I'm going to go hundreds, if not 500-600 gigs, right? And I hate it when people film it.
Right. Do you know what?
I don't be there.
Yeah, I don't mind a photo. I'm all for a photo.
Yeah, I don't mind.
You were there, take a picture. But it's the way that you're filming it. But then you're looking at your phone as you're filming it. I'm like,
you're not
even looking at the people, and it's like, and it's like if you wanted to watch it on a screen, go home and go watch it on TV. The people that wanted to be there.
Because the thing I was thinking, I was just like, who are filming this? the BBC.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Do you think they might get a better picture than you? Like, you're not. Again, this is the thing. So this is my point: is you're not watching it back. You're posting it on social media to say you're there, to say you did it. And again, it's an ego thing. I don't care what anyone says. You can convince me otherwise, but that's what it is. Because all these events, like I said, are filmed, and you would, if I wanted to watch that back, I'd watch the BBC footage, right?
It's the same with. I'm like, no, I'm gonna watch.
It's like when you see the golfers. Like, you see all the golfers like behind the tee box doing it, and again, I'm fine. Take a picture of the guy. You might want to see one swing of his. Yeah, okay, that's great. But every single one, every single time, like, come on, just be there, just enjoy it. And yeah, and that's, I mean, look, I'm, you know, we were the same on holiday. Really, we didn't get, there wasn't loads of pictures from holiday because we were just enjoying it. Just like, I don't really care much.
I just want to be there. Fuck me, yeah.
It was, and that's the one thing for me that I was in agreement with Andrew Marr. That it's such a plague on society. That whole thing, it annoys me. But again, it comes from the era that we live in, which is I'm better than you. I was there. I did it, and I'm gonna say that I was there. And I don't think, like I said, if you're there to pay your respects, pay your respects. But like I said, I just think that it's highlighted, unfortunately, highlighted some things that are wrong with the country. But hey, it's
highlighted King Charles's fingers again.
Sausage fingers, yeah, the old
those
Richmond
massive
fingers.
fucking Cumberlands. Jesus Christ!
And I have to say as well, I just want to say the other thing that I really liked was when that guy shouted out to Prince Andrew because he deserved it, but not at the right time. Didn't do it at the right time, but I do like to see him getting some heckling,
some stick. Yeah. Correct. Yeah, he's a questionable human being, and William forced him to step down, didn't he? William was like, fucking step down, apparently.
Did he?
Yeah, apparently William was like, you're gonna be nowhere near what we do from this day forward.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, which is good, right? William actually sounds like a okay guy. Head of the FA. Been on
anyway,
Crouch
there
podcast.
we go.
Very strange. And Dan's interested on my thoughts of the Rings of Power, obviously. Have you been watching it?
What, man? I didn't even watch the films of this stuff. I'm not going to watch the spin-offs.
It's the most expensive
too much
TV
time
show
on
in history.
Too much time on your hands. I'm telling you now.
$1 billion it costs.
What a waste of money that was. What a waste of money.
It hasn't got great reviews, but it's interesting though. I enjoyed it. If you like Lord of the Rings, my take on it, you saw my post. Why is everybody in Middle Earth English? Interesting. I like it. It's quite cool. But obviously, all the all the stupid kind of characters all got northern accents.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, at least it's lifelike then.
Absolutely spot on.
Lifelike.
But then all the orcs have got this kind of Cockney accent, which is fair enough. They're all like murderers. Talking about the craze, fuck me, people getting wound up. They're mate, yeah, geezer. And then the elves have got the best spoken English I've ever heard. It was kind of like, I bet it did take I was like, shit, I'm not used to watching something so like eloquent in terms of how people speak. It was like watching Shakespeare. I was like, oh, gee, I have to really pay attention for what they're saying. I was like, oh god, it's not what I need at like 10 o'clock at night. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I haven't been. We'll do reviews based off when all of these finish and I've watched them all, because obviously Andor comes out soon. Dan, Star Wars. That is into Rogue One territory. That'll be fun. Cassian Andor. He was a kind of smuggler kind of person in Rogue One. That is obviously between 3 and 4, my friend. That was a legitimately good film. And I haven't been watching the Game of Thrones thing yet, because I'm annoyed that they're doing it weekly. I can't do every single show weekly. I've got to have one that I can just binge, like Stranger Things. But yeah, you didn't watch Stranger Things either, did you?
No,
you loser.
I don't watch much TV, mate. To be fair,
you don't do. Yeah. He opened with the line, "My TV is not working," and I'm really fucked up. It's just a classic. Just Only Fools and Horses 24/7 in Dan's house, so that's all it needs.
In-Betweeners at the moment it is. Enjoying the In-Betweeners, mate.
Nice.
Yeah, quite like that. I'm very much a creature of habit, like I said. With
it's gonna be a funny thing, isn't it? When you're like 80 and you're still watching that, like really? I think TV was best then.
Yeah, it definitely was. No, but if you do have any suggestions for good Netflix or Amazon Prime or any series, me and Laura do need one to watch. But I'm not going to watch them. No, because they're shit ones, Tom.
No, you know, I'm not. Stranger Things. Are you joking? You'd actually get to know what half the music on the reels are, mate. Now, if you actually watched it.
Good point. The thing I don't like about things like that was I did the same thing. Real. Yeah, that's that. I don't like that. But also is that I've got this real thing against like real popular stuff. You know, when it was really popular, I kind of rebel against it. Like when Breaking Bad was really popular, I was like, not watching it, because everyone was talking about Breaking Bad. And I watched it about 2 years after, and I was like, that was actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good. I don't like watching it at the same time everyone else does. So if anyone's got a series that's was popular or isn't popular but should be, let me know. I'll get all over it.
Put that perspective. I'm pretty sure, like when we first started being friends, you probably gave me shit for playing golf, and look at you now. So yeah.
True. Definitely. Yeah.
You're like, cricket's a real sport, mate. I'm like, right up, Dan.
Nah, golf's a real sport now, mate. Don't worry about that. It's just a sign I'm getting old. That playing golf, you were old before your time, mate. You see?
Oh I've been there for a while. Yeah. I lean into it. That's why I dress how I dress, to look young.
But the other thing as well, because we were watching, because Ozark had a new series out the other day, which we watched. But it was almost been too long since I watched it. Like, I can't get back into it now. I watched it. I don't even know the character. Who's died? Who's he again? I was like, I can't bother to watch it again. So I just didn't bother. So yeah, that's the story of my TV viewing. I just rather watch something like In-Betweeners, which I know is easy to watch. I know what's happened and it's easy. Just, brainless watching.
Brainless watching, yeah. Correct.
What did we watch the other day? We watched the most hated man on the internet. It's not that great, to be fair. It's about Hunter Moore. He was a guy who created a website that basically people used to upload revenge porn on, anonymously, but only it linked. So they did it anonymously, but then linked to people's Facebooks and stuff like that. Anyway, this he got tracked down and put in prison and stuff like that. But again, it was trending on Netflix. You get the stuff trending for some reason. But yeah, it wasn't very good. But yes, that's what annoys me. See, when you watch something that's trending, you're like, well, that was a bit shit. I'm like, like that's why I get really annoyed. Oh, everyone's watching it. Last thing I watched that was trending that was good was Squid Games. And that's only because it was gory and different. It wasn't actually an amazing story. Like, you knew what was going to happen.
No, it was just like, it was these games, wasn't it?
Mm.
I agree. I think I don't know. I don't know what you'd like.
Well, Tiger King was good as well in the lockdown. Remember that?
I think that was good because we were in lockdown. I feel
like no, Tiger King was no amazing.
Culture whatsoever coming to us, and we're just like, yeah, this will be good. This crazy gay guy who's obviously loves tigers and trying to kill some other person from the other side of the country.
Like you said, only in lockdown would that have taken off the way
it did. Yeah. All right, shall we spent 20 minutes not talking about anything fitness.
There you go.
So we got 2 topics that we should talk about. Let's give ourselves a 10-minute time cap on both. I know it's a bit, but it just rounds it to a nice 40-minute, doesn't it? And I'm pretty sure I
go for the timer.
What should we talk about first? So the 2 topics are Reels and Reach. Myself and Dan talked about pre-show, just because I tried an experiment and it worked, but then Dan also was like, "Oh, is it good?" And I was like, "Yeah, obviously I know what you mean, Dan. I just wanted to see what would happen." And sure. Then, exercise libraries. Yes or no? Basically, we are going to give our opinions. As I'm now a fully fledged online coach, Dan. I'm joking. I'm a hybrid coach. But I don't have a hybrid. So you're all online. So you'll have better opinion than me, obviously. Doubt it, considering those TV show opinions. I might switch off. Just talk do the rest of the show myself. All right. Okay, Reels. So I did an experiment. Obviously, Dan can talk about the science because he talks about this to his mentees, coaches. I don't know what you call them. People coaches, who unfortunately have to listen to Dan for money.
It's more like it. Yeah.
So I did a thing. I noticed over the last maybe 3-4 weeks. So some of my reels, my reels would tend to hit like, obviously this is new accounts. Okay. So I'm looking at just like, they're probably going to hit some of my followers, probably not all of them, but I'm just like the reels you use for reach into other accounts and possibly you just introducing an idea. You're not doing like hard hitting content, right? It's not big call to actions. Don't do them on reels because that's pointless because they don't even know the fuck you are yet. Okay. So it's just to see if what reach would happen. So like previously 3 or 4 weeks ago, probably my reels averaged like 3, 4, 5,000 like views, let's say that. And then I noticed a big plummet. I hadn't changed anything massively. I thought I'd change doing more kind of standing up, kind of talky style. And like, well, not standing up. I have a little view off here. I've actually got my like and stuff like linked onto a kettlebell because it was the only thing I could look onto.
Smooth.
As fitness, that is. And I got bored of the view of this view that Dan's looking at now, and I could look at my little like, you want to look at Darth Maul bobblehead, don't you? Yeah. So, and then I noticed they not plummeted, they went down, but probably more just followers were looking at them, like kind of the 4, 5, 6, 700 kind of views. But I guess if you put that in perspective, if 700 people actually watched something of yours, you'd be like, cool, that's pretty cool. And then so I saw a post by somebody who was like, oh yeah, I decided to just play around with when to post yesterday, and he was like, I posted at midnight, and yeah, I got more reach. So I did the exact same thing. I like saved it in drafts, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not going to post whenever, because on Insights you can see when your followers are meant to be more active, but it tends to drop off after 9 o'clock. It goes down a bit. So I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to post it at like 11:30 when I go, like when I'm in bed. I was like, boom, post, and then I woke up straight over 10,000. Like apparently 10,000 views, or it hit 10,000 accounts, which was an interesting thing. Obviously we have fucking no idea, but all we can do is kind of like play around with the algorithm hates me, or just kind of try to adapt to, depending on what it is. All I was doing was try a little experiment just to see whether that could get a little bit more reach. It's absolutely fine. Obviously other content would be more plausible to possibly talking to coaches and getting kind of, I don't know, people who want coaching and all that kind of fun stuff, but it was just to see more accounts. It didn't necessarily got a lot more likes, but it definitely got a lot more views. That probably would account for my face and what I was saying.
My theory here is, at any one time in the world, there are X number of people posting reels.
Yeah.
And at any one number of time, there are only a certain amount of views that those reels are going to get. And those number of views will be divided by the number of reels there are available based on how good they are. My theory is that if you post at midnight, there are less people posting reels, but yet the same amount of total views per hour, per minute, whatever you want to call it, would be the same. So you have a larger pool of available views distributed between less videos. That's my theory with that. And that's why I think I've heard people say, don't always post when it's popular times, because that's when everyone else posts. Don't have to post it like that. You know, if everyone posts at 7 p.m., for example, when people think that people are more active, yeah, but you're also competing with more people posting more reels at that time. So that's something to consider. I think as well, other things that people will consider, and the thing that I think may have hindered you more recently, is that when you naturally talk more sales in general on your posts, on your page, people will turn off a bit quicker. They will know that you're edging towards a sale, towards something, and they'll just swipe away and they're not interested in, which is fine. It's not a problem. It's going to happen. So I think that could be something that's happened with you, but it's definitely with reels, people are looking at it the wrong way. And I know people that have been like, oh, my reel bombed, it only got 1,000 people. Number one, if 1,000 people stood in front of you on a stage, you'd crap your pants, number one. Number two is that, yeah, you can get 10,000, 20,000 views, but then I've also had people get 10,000, 20,000 views on a reel, some of my coaches, then complain that the likes were from people who are from like India and Pakistan and, you know, Philippines, and they're never going to buy from them, and they don't know what they're liking. They're just liking it for the sake of it because they've seen it. I'm like, well, exactly that. So then what do you want then? Do you want more views, or do you want the views to be the right people? And coaches will always, you know, they'll always, you know, never be happy. They always want, you know, whatever they haven't got. But I think that what is better for your reels is a more consistent amount of views each time you post one, because I think it shows that it's posting it to the relevant people, and the relevant amount of them are liking it and commenting and all this sort of stuff. So when I look at mine, for example, if I was to look at my reels from the past, and obviously we post like our YouTube clips, right? So a little bit different to what most people post at the moment. But if I look at ours, I'm looking at consistently, we've got one there, 2,000, 3,000, 13,000, 4,000, 8,000, 5.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2008, 3,000, 4,000, all around a similar ballpark figures. There's no 100,000, there's no 80,000, but likewise, there's no like 100, 200. I think you're better off having a consistent amount like that. I think it shows that what you're posting is relevant, useful. People are liking it, people are watching it. And some of our spoof ones go a little bit further and do a little bit better. Any ones that we've ever done where it's like, link in bio, or, we're doing this or whatever, definitely lower on the likes and the views. But we also don't post at certain times. We'll just post it whenever. Me and Mike will always just post it like 10 a.m., 11 a.m., like 3 p.m. Mainly because as well, if we're looking at coaches, they are on at other times than most people.
Yeah.
But I genuinely don't think it matters as much anymore with timing. With things like Reels, I think if they're good, they'll get found by the right people again.
Yeah, correct. Because
they get put in front of the right people.
Just remember, like, when we were away, right? Because I take the piss out of fucking Lewandowski. I posted that reel about 2 weeks ago, and then it blew up again. Well, blew up. Yeah, it started getting about 100 likes randomly and comments when we were away, and I was like, "This is weird." We just don't know why they push it. It's just like, all right, but
and that's the thing, is you won't know, and all it takes is one person to share it or something like that. But interesting, we had Graham, a guy called Graham Hurst, he's on Instagram. He is at Graphics for Coaches, and he does social media graphics stuff. And he said that people think that carousels are dead. People think that all these other posts are dead. And he's like, everyone is posting reels, right? So if everyone's posting reels, you could be the exception and you could be someone different. And again, I posted a couple of carousels recently and they've gone really well, like, because they're valuable, they're useful, they're actually stuff people want to know. I think that people are looking too much. Again, the pendulum always swings too far, but the reels that, people are posting too many of them. And some people as well, when they say their reels bomb, I'm like, okay, well, you're expecting it to go far, number one, so don't expect it to go far. Like, what's bombing? Like, you need to redefine that. But also consider that your reels are just shit. Like, that's also the other thing to consider, right? And I post some reels sometimes, and well, that's not very good. It's not, the content's not as amazing. It's not really going to catch people as much. Lo and behold, they're always the ones that do lower on reach. They always are. Like, because not every single reel can be a smash hit. It can't be every single bit of content you post is viral, is amazing, is opinionated, is funny, is all these things. You have to post stuff sometimes that is informative, that is a call to action, that is a transformation, because you have to have the collection of content. You can't just post reels. It's like when people used to just post infographics. You used to get loads of followers and then you used to get any clients from doing it. You just ever get any clients from it.
Doing that? Yeah, that's the case.
Same with reels.
A few of those, because I just posted 2 uppers videos, because obviously I put 2 like testimonials up last week. And I was just like, fuck it, I just want to put 2. I got a bunch, about 8 or 9, like in 1 week, just because shock, I asked my clients for testimonials. And then I was just like editing them. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to put 2 up this week, just to pad out in terms of putting a few more testimonials at the top of my page, or anything else. And yeah, I do normally put social proof on, like I do like a Friday or a Saturday, usually. And I was just like, they're a little bit different, talking heads, stuff like that. But obviously the views weren't high, whatever. But that's more the powerful content, right? So
that's also the content as well, that if someone's going on your page, Tom, and they want to think about signing you as a coach, they're going to scroll down and find it. They're going to look for that stuff. And this is my big thing with people who just focus on reels, is that I get a lot of people who, I've seen them before, and they get their reels. They got 20,000 views on a reels, but you go down their page, and I can't see a single person they've ever worked with. I can't see any proof that they're a coach that actually gets results. And again, it's having the blend of all this stuff that I think is important. And I've heard people say, like, "Oh, talking head videos don't work anymore. Oh, reels aren't working anymore." Oh, shut up! Your message is shit. That's the reality of it. And they're relying on a tactic like reels and hoping that it goes viral. It's like, no, that's just not going to work. Like, that's not how to play the game with this. And quality always shines through, in my opinion. In my opinion, it does. Quality always comes through and shines through. And like I said, you may only get 500 views on a reel that is more testimonial, but they're probably 500 people that are actually interested in what you're doing. So that's pretty good, as opposed to 5,000 of just a shitty little voiceover of a fucking song. I don't get those reels. I don't get what these people think it's adding to people's lives, because I did never watch one of those and gone, oh my God, I must follow this person. Never in my life, ever. But hey, you do you, like, do whatever you feel is right. But a lot of coaches rely on the old lip syncing and stuff because of that reason. That it's going viral, it's going to get popular, it's like, loads of views. Well, great. I don't think it's going to translate into much for you, to be honest. No. But it like I say, it is what it is. People are playing the game, and
play the
All
game.
that, yeah.
People can look at my. Look at this, Dan. This is what I use my board for. I have my what I want my content to be day by day.
Yeah. There you go.
That's my plan. If anybody wants to know, it is as you probably saw yesterday was a have you post. Have you done this? Do you do this? Blah 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 blah. And then normally today is a against video. Against shit I don't like. So a polarizing one, basically, to make people be annoyed by me. And then a classic struggle to a call to action. And then Thursdays is normally like a carousel or like Twitter kind of thing, probably talking about what I talked about the day before, or sometimes if I can be bothered to do a podcast one. It requires a little bit more like annoyance of me editing shit. I'm like, oh, this is annoying. No creativeness in this. And then Fridays, social proofs and stuff like that. Fridays and Saturdays is social proofs and just dicking about. One of me dicking about, more than likely.
You do love dicking about.
Those. I feel like some people have either too much of that or none of it whatsoever. And what you were talking about, personality, putting your personality across. Dan never puts like salesy ones up, really. Apart from testimonials and what his clients are doing, they'll never be like, sign up straight away, look now. And you'll probably notice that most of Dan's stories are literally just like, lol, here's a dog doing a turd. It'll be more like that. So
yeah, but again, there's reasons for doing certain things in the way it is. And again, like I always say this to my clients, don't copy me. Don't do what I'm doing. I'm at a different stage to where you're at. I'm at a different position and all this sort of stuff. Like, I say to my clients, you should be posting 10, 15 stories a day. And they're like, well, you only posted 2 yesterday. I'm like, I don't need clients like you need clients. So go put yourself out there, mate. And I also say this all the time. I sit there on the call with them. I say, okay, so what do you know about me? I said, reel off some things you know about me. I like eggs. I've got 2 dogs, got a wife. I've got a kid. I live in Dubai. I do this sort of stuff. I said, I know nothing about you. I'm like, I know nothing about you. I followed your Instagram now for 8 weeks. I know nothing about you. Have you got a girlfriend? Have you got a boyfriend? You got a dog? Family? Countryside? City? Where do you live? No idea. I said, so don't you think I only post a couple of this stuff, but I've been doing it for that long, and you followed me for that long that you have made this connection. I'm like, this is what we need to get you to in a position where you can do that. I said, but you haven't posted any of it. I said, I don't know anything about you. And I think that again, people look at it in a different way. They see someone else doing loads of reels, but what they don't know is they could be in a phase where they're just trying to grow their following and they don't need any clients, And I saw someone the other day, it was a mentor, and it really got to me a little bit. And he posted a video that basically said you should have launches for intakes of one-to-one coaching. You shouldn't make your one-to-one coaching available year round because it doesn't look exclusive. Like, you need to make it like when Apple launch a phone, they make it a big thing and you launch it and you buy the phone once it's launched or whatever, right? He basically said how you should have intakes of your one-to-one coaching to make it seem exclusive. He posts every single week that he's got spaces for his one-to-one coaching mentoring. And I'm sat there like, oh my God, like hypocritical.
So basically, he just ain't intake. He only knows how to click his onboarding button on a Monday. That's it.
Well, yeah, like I was just like, so I'm looking at it going, okay, so on the one hand, like I've just said, like, don't copy what I do. But likewise on that one, I'm kind of looking at it and going, yeah, but there's also a point to this where it's like, look at what they're doing and go, well, actually, do you know what? Like, maybe I should do intakes. Well, ask the question then, why doesn't that person do intakes? Ask that question then, right? Because that to me is shit advice. Whereas I would tell my clients, you should be doing CTAs quite regularly because you can take on clients. You do need clients. You do want clients, right? And I just find it baffling that people are so scared to tell people they've got spaces. Like, just tell people. Like, how are they supposed to sign up with you otherwise? So yeah, and look, you get so much of this conflicting advice, which is exactly what, I suppose from our point of view, my clients get that element of every person is different. Some do intakes because that's how they prefer doing it or whatever. But they're also a different point where they've got 30, 40 clients already. So they can be a bit more selective with that. They can go through phases like that. And yeah, I just think people get too lost in the whole, well, so-and-so's posting reels every day and they're posting 2 a day. And Gary Vee said I should post 8 times a day. And it's not Gary Vee can. He's got a team doing it for him. Like, it's again, trying to figure out where you fit on the spectrum of all this sort of stuff. And I just think too many online coaches are focusing solely on reels and not thinking about other value that they're providing in their opinions and their sales and all those sorts of things on their page. Because a lot of them doesn't look like they work with any people to me. Doesn't look like they work with other people.
Why would you?
Yeah, why would you post your client results and show people how good you are at what your job? Yeah, crazy idea. There you go.
All right, next topic. Online coaching still, obviously. Well, just coaching in general, really, because hopefully everybody writes programs every now and again. But obviously there's something that we have to be able to coach in a certain way, and obviously the necessity for an online coach is being able to do a demonstration. Not too fantastic. It's where we rely on YouTube or a photo library. You probably just don't want a photo of it. Just hold that ISO. Yeah, you then do like video libraries. Okay, so exercise libraries. I know when we did PT coaching, PT mentoring, whatever it's called. There was a couple in there that were like, oh yeah, I really want to go and do my own library because it looks so much better when like the client has me demonstrating it. And I was just like, no, it doesn't. They don't care. 100% they couldn't give a shit. They could not give a shit. It's totally up to you on your branding. That's what you care about. That's not, you don't care about the client like value or blah, 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 blah. And yeah, that's the case. And I guess we can come from different perspectives of this because I've actually been through a process of creating a little bit of a video library, but that was for an educational course. And I dumped about 200 to 300 exercises, filmed them, coached them, did loads of different things and blah, 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 blah. So I've got that in the locker anyway, but that was for a different purpose. And I was like, shit, we can repurpose this. This is absolutely fine. And the other thing I do, so there's two things that I will tend to try and find something on YouTube or blah, blah. There's a few trusted, Dan's give me another one. But obviously the athletic-based movement for me is something that I have to find which is correct and it can be done badly. And I'm like, that doesn't look right. I don't want somebody to watch that and that's what they kind of replicate. If that's the case, I will just go and do it myself. So I spent like 2 hours on Saturday. I had a list of shit that I wanted filmed and I was just like, cool, I'm just going to do it. My legs are in fucking bits. But I was just like, all right, that's done. It's done now. It's cool. I need those filmed. Or I will go find a YouTube clip. There is one caveat I do, but I think this is almost like perhaps a slight USP. And I'm assuming, I don't think many people do it. Every single exercise that I give out, I will have done a Loom video with me in the corner coaching it to how I would coach it. So I get rid of anything. If the person's talking in the video or whatever, and whatever it be, like 15, I try to chop it at 45 seconds because that's all of the time I need to coach and go through my main points. I tend to do that instead of fucking doing it yourself, trying to speak to camera, talk, because guess what? We did 2 solid weeks, basically 8 days of filming on that. And that takes a long time to do in terms of filming and lectures and stuff like that.
It must be the worst time to value ratio I've ever known.
Bonkers. Awful. Yeah. Pointless when it's already been done by larger companies.
Complete waste of time. Like I've never had one in all my years doing online coaching ever. I've had to send clients maybe 1 or 2 videos of how I want them to do an exercise because it's unique to them, that I want them to do a certain variation that I would film myself or something like that. But as Tom said, I use one called functional bodybuilding. So there's a guy called Marcus Filly. He's quite big in America, I think, Marcus Filly. But yeah, if you type in functional bodybuilding to YouTube, there's a channel. And he's literally got every single exercise you could ever want to do or should want to do with people. And it's just one of those 15 to 20-second videos, bit of music on, no talking, none of this like explanations of 3 minutes that you're struggling to find, all that sort of stuff. And I'd even throw an argument in there that, like I said, you wouldn't need to go anywhere else. You could use his. He puts it all on YouTube, all unlisted. He's not got any sort of branding on it, really. He's not trying to steal clients. He's not going to come across more knowledgeable than you if that's what you're worried about. Not that you should be, but some people might be worried about that. He just literally posts a video and that's it. And yeah, I recommend his all the time to coaches. I say, don't waste your time. I've had people say to me, "Oh, I've had it priced up. It's going to cost me £1,000 to get someone to do it."
I'm like, why?
Don't waste £1,000 on it. It's completely useless. So yeah, that's what I do. Is I use that one. It's so pointless. So pointless.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what I've got to say on that. There you go.
Yeah, I just think some people think it's like a gospel and it might help. There's probably a lot of newer coaches that sometimes listen to us or thinking about it. And it's just like, all right, take it from two people who have unfortunately been coaching for probably combined over 20 years now. And we've never seen the need to actually sit down and do a proper one, because it's just already there, and there's enough trusted people in the world that we're like, I like how you move. I think I trust that bit, and it's fine, because it's just like, all right, all it takes is a Google, and then like, especially with something like Stridist, as soon as I embed the YouTube clip, guess what? It's under that title forever now, and it's like bump bump, off it goes. Much like I'm sure Dan would just have like a link. Like if you look at I gave away my combine testing like thing. And every single one of those tests, there's 13 tests in there, but each of them link to YouTube of my video, me talking about it. So if you want to look at how I do it, get hold of that fucking thing. All of mine are unlisted. But yeah, there's probably about 100, 150 on there as well, just of me talking over stuff. But yeah, just certain things I like to explain. But that was more basis, of course, obviously I was doing the group coaching thing and they don't have as much interaction with me. So I needed to be as annoying to them as possible, as much as I could, because they didn't have check-ins for me to annoy them in. So, yeah.
There you go. Always annoy them.
I was like, how can I get my personality across to these people? And they don't actually have my number. This is crazy. I can't send them memes, and like, I'm a GIF person. I do like sending GIFs to people. So relevant ones or irrelevant ones, that's fine. Wonderful, mate. I normally use a variation of like CFFC or Steve from CFFC, because they just do more. One of their biggest things is like they literally say 90% of your coaching is how you move, so do it fucking correctly. So they do all their videos impeccably well, and they're short and sharp, like 45 seconds with a little bit of coaching. But like I said, I take the coaching out. You can keep it in, it's absolutely fine. I'd rather them have my boring voice over it whilst they listen to the exercise than somebody else's.
There you go. Fall asleep while they're practicing this.
Correct. Let's bring that to a close, Daniel. That was informative in the end. Good.
Oh, maybe
ish, perhaps. Any other business, Daniel?
Not from me. No,
not from me. The free combine is going on right now. So if you're not in the group already, probably want to get on it. Otherwise, I'll probably take the file down probably next week at some point. So if you want to do it, it's free to do. It's absolutely fine. Point of this week is a lot of people doing it from my perspective. She already got some fucking good results from some of the people. I looked at one lad's, I don't know, he's a lot stronger than me. He pulled like 265 kilos for 2 on his trap bar deadlift. A bit stronger than me, and he fucked me. And then he also went up above a 3 meter broad jump down. If you're in the world of S&C, you know 3 meters is kind of a golden ticket for being vaguely athletic. Yeah. So yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. And then I asked him, I was like, can you send me the video of you doing your 5-minute max distance test, please? He was like, yeah, I didn't do that one. I was like, brilliant. Why didn't you do that one? So he did all the other ones. He was like, yeah, they were more fun. I was like, interesting. Yeah. Okay. You
that don't want to do
the aerobic capacity one. I was like, it's written in there for a fucking you have to do it at some point. I was like, I'm not going to give you the next plan. So you dickhead. It's fine. We'll see. We'll see a bunch of results at the end of this week and like kind of middle way through next week. So, and obviously I will publish the net of what everybody improves by. I don't know. I haven't looked honestly yet. So of what everybody's done through tests, and most people will be through test day 1 or retest day 1. So it'll be interesting if anyone wants to see. Yeah, I'm going to go for a overall improvement across the board of all my athletes doing this. I think we'll get a 6 to 7.5% better overall. I think.
Oh, so I'd only do it if you could guarantee me 10%, I'd do it. But...
Well, we might get there. I'm just projecting low, so I look fantastic. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, mate. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next week.
See you later.